Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and thank you all for tuning in for this week's episode of Bridging the Gap from War to Wisdom. My name is Taniqua Matthews, and I want to invite you all to come in the room. Let me know that you're here by saying hello. And tonight we're going to be talking about some very important topics that need to be addressed going out of this month and into the next month. So we're going to talk about hardships. We're going to be talking about love bombing. We're going to be talking about gaslighting, and we're going to be talking about healing through the pain. So I know that some of us may have experienced some difficulties, some hardships, some pain, understanding what love bombing and gaslighting is, and know how to recognize those things so you can move forward. And I'm not just talking about in relationships, I'm talking about in friendships, I'm talking about with not just your significant other, but also others as well. So, some of the hardships that we overcome in our lives, some people will say that they're self induced, but in most cases these are hardships that are related to things that we have gone through in our lives. So we need to first and foremost develop a positive mindset. In the midst of adversity, we have to develop a positive mindset. We have to use our sense of humor, because let me tell you something, laughter helps you to overcome some of the trials, some of the hardships. Because as you understand that you're going through some trauma, you're going through a hardship, you're going through difficulty in your life. For example, you could have lost a loved one, you could have had just disconnected from a good friend, disconnected from a significant other, you've lost a job, you've lost something, or something has happened in your life to allow you to develop some type of hardship. That's the reason why it's important that even in the midst of adversity, to make sure that you have a positive mindset, because how you go through is what's going to help you get to the other side, because it's not going to be that way forever. If you think about even the rain, it doesn't rain forever. Eventually the sun will come out. So as you're going through those hardships, it is very imperative that as you're going through, that you recognize and you realize that your positivity is going to help carry you through. And I know you're saying to yourself, it's really difficult as you're going through different things in your life to stay positive, to stay focused, to make sure that you're loving yourself, to make sure that you're not bleeding on other people as you're going through. Because sometimes what happens is we allow ourselves and other people that come into our space, we bleed on them and they didn't cut us. So we have to use that sense of humor. We have to expect that there's going to be adversity that's going to come. We understand that in this thing called life, there are going to be challenges. There are going to be trials. There are going to be difficulty that's happening in our lives. So we have to expect that we are going to have adversity, and we have to prepare for it. So how do we prepare for it? That means that we have to fuel ourselves with good things on the inside. So when things come out of us, when things and challenges come to try to break us, what happens is it prevents us from being able to focus on the things of that we are going through, the positive things and not the negativity. Okay. So as we expect the adversity, as we prepare for it, then we have to, it's okay for you to learn from others that have been able to overcome some of those same adversities. Let me tell you something. Have you ever told someone a story? And as you're telling someone a story, they may smile. They may say, you know what? I've been there. I've experienced that. I know what you're talking about. And these are some of the things that I've been able to do to overcome that. We were just talking about, even in Bible study just earlier, that your testimony and what you share is not so much for you, but it's also for you to be open to other people, because it allows you to be able to grow. It allows you to be able to get to a mindset that as you're going through these adversities, as you're going through these hardships, it prepares you for what is to come, which is the good thing that's on the other side. Yes, when you're in the midst of a storm, you can't always see all the good. You can't always see what's going to happen on the other side. But as you're learning from others, and as you're sharing with others, as you're allowing yourself to be open, because oftentimes we don't want to be open because we are embarrassed by different things. We know that there's been times when we've shared with other people, and what has happened? They've taken that information and they've turned it around and used it against us in a negative way. So we have to choose to be supportive and caring of people. We have to choose that we're going to provoke one another to good works. We have to choose that we're going to keep pressing forward, because this journey of life, as long as we have breath in our body and the mobility of our limbs, then we have to keep moving forward, because it's not about us. It's not about any one of us. The things that we go through in life is for us to be able to help other people go through as they're going through as well. So those hardships are there to make you stronger. There are things that come in our lives because it is an opportunity for us to grow, because we can't stay stagnant. We can't stay where we are, because if you stay where you are, then you are absolutely never going to grow. We have to understand that as we are caring and supportive of others, it helps us build our strength. We are here to inspire. We are here to encourage. We are here to motivate. We are here to pour into others, because there may be a time when I may be at my low, and there may be a time when someone else may be at their low, but it's truly up to you what you're going to do in the midst of those hardships and those adversities. And so it's okay. One of the things that helps me is to write things down. Write down all the things that you're going through, and then you pray over those things. And when I say, I mean pray, not prey. You pray over those things, and God will turn those things around. He will turn those things around. And for those of you who say, you know what, I've tried that before and it didn't work for me, but really, truly, have you written everything down? Empty everything out. Go through and just say, you know what? These are all of the things that I'm going through. These are all the trials I'm faced with right now. These are the things that are looking towards, that I'm looking at right now, that I see that are a challenge for me. And sometimes it's going to be a press. It's going to be a press. So I want to come in here now, because we know this is the last Wednesday that we're going to be here. Next week, we're going to be going into a new month. So I am truly excited about that. So I want to tell us, as we're going into the birthing month, which is the 9th month. And if you know anything about birthing, you know that birthing normally happens in the 9th month. There are some people that may be premature. Some babies may be premature, but we're going into that birthing month. So we have to be able to get our minds channeled so we can prepare ourselves to be able to push into our purpose, so we can develop that mindset. We can make sure that we're using that sense of humor. We can expect adversity to come and prepare for it. We can learn from others who have overcome, and then choose to be supportive and write things down. Empty everything out. I don't care what it is. If it's something that may seem small to you, but it's bothering you, write it down. Because sometimes what I find is being able to write things down really truly helps. It really truly helps. But I'm gonna tell you that I was having a very challenging day yesterday, and in the midst of that challenging day, I was able to encounter one of my good friends, my sister friend. And when I tell you that being able to have someone there that can pour into you when you are depleted really truly helps. But you have to be mindful of the people that are around you, because the people that are around you, if they're not pouring positivity into you, if they are not pouring love into you, if they are not pouring something in you that's going to help you build and grow and turn away from all the stinking thinking and that negative self-talk that's going on, what's going to happen is your cup is going to be completely empty, and you're going to have absolutely nothing. You're going to have nothing. So then we talk about what happens in this love bombing, right? So what happens with love bombing, and what exactly is love bombing? And so this doesn't just happen in relationships with the significant others. This happens in friendships as well. This happens when you're the new kid on the block, when you're new at the job. This is what happens is it's emotional manipulation technique. And so what happens oftentimes is people will give you excessive compliments. They'll give you attention. They'll give you affection, and they try to control you. They try to control you. That's what a love bomb is. They try to control you. When you ever notice that when you're new on the job, and then you always have those one or two people that want to tell you about everything. They want to say, "Oh, your hair looks nice. You know these all these excessive compliments." They want to give you the attention. They want to show you how to do the job. Oh, this is how this person did it, but I want to show you this. And they always want to come and bring you things. And I'm not saying that it's like that way with everybody, but be mindful when you're being love bombed, when you're dealing with people that you consider your friends, because I don't use that term loosely. I'm very mindful of people that I call my friend, because everybody is not your friend. People are friendly, but everyone is not your friend. And I think I want to say that one more time. You can be friendly, but everyone is not your friend. And so I want you to be mindful of that, because there are people that will come into your life and say that they're your friends, and they are there as a monitoring spirit to try to come and get information from you so they can try to control you through love bombing. That's how they manipulate you. They try to make it seem as if they have your best interests in mind. They want to love on you. They want to give you all and any and everything that they possibly can to try to control you, because if they have your information, then they know the things that make you tick. They know the things that make you excited. They know the things that make you happy. And so their goal is to try to get you under their control. And so you will recognize this, because there's a difference between love bombing and genuine love. And even if we're talking about relationships here, there is a total difference, because if you are have experience, or you've been in a situation where you are preparing yourself for your significant other, or you're dating, or whatever it is, okay, because we're adults here, right? And so there are times when people will come into your life and they will love on you and tell you how beautiful you are, tell you how handsome you look, fresh cut, all these things excessive in the beginning. They want to move things from being friends directly into you trying to walk down the aisle and put a ring on your finger. Beware of those techniques, because sometimes people will try to manipulate you, and this is goes for friends, significant others, co-workers, people that you have in your space. And so the difference is, love bombing is something that's generally stimulated by self-interest rather than genuine feelings of love and affection. They have an interest in what you're interested in for the moment. And so that's why it's always that honeymoon phase of things. Things look great on the inside. You're loving on one another. Whether if you're friends, you're always going places together. You're always going out to eat. You're going to different events and things together. And you're excited about being able to be with your friend, because you truly believe that this person, came into your life as a friend, and they have your best interests in mind, and they want to help you build and grow. They may have seen something that you shared on social media, and they say, you know what, I want to be a part of this organization to do what you're doing, because I see you doing great and amazing things. But in all actuality, they really want to try to come in so they can manipulate you, because what happens? Oftentimes, the people that we love and we care for the most are the people that we generally allow our ear to be turned to. So we have to be mindful when people are trying to manipulate us by being able to control us, and doing that other than having genuine feelings of love and affection. I will tell you, I have a best friend. My best friend, I don't talk to her every single day, but I do know that if I call her at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, she knows that there's something wrong. And she knows that despite anything that may be happening, I don't have to talk to her every day. There are friends that I don't talk to every single day. There are people that you may not talk to every day, but when people are constantly in your face and in your space and wanting information, and they try to infiltrate and get information from you, beware and be mindful of that love bombing technique that people try to pull, because again, it is truly just manipulation to try to get information from you by doing excessive. They're doing more than. So you have to be mindful of those things, because people will come into your space to try to control you, and you don't even realize, before you know it, you're calling this person, oh, you know what, I have this event, what should I wear, what should I do when it comes to dealing with this person, when it comes to dealing with that person. Absolutely, that's what we were saying. Monitoring spirits, they want to try to get information from you so they can try to control you. They want to monitor. They're looking at every single thing you're doing. They're watching you. They're watching your profile. They're watching your social media. They're communicating with you on the phone. They want to call you and absorb different parts of your day. I had a person that I considered a friend at one time that called me first thing in the morning and will call me throughout the day. And eventually I realized that it was just a distraction. This was just a way for you to be able to get information from me, so then you can turn around and use it against me at a later date. That's what people try to do. They try to turn things around to manipulate you. And before you know it, what happens the moment that you say no, the moment that you disconnect, then you realize, have you ever noticed that that's when people tend to pull away from you, because you say no, because you don't want to indulge, because you don't want to allow those things to distract you from being able to focus on your goal. If you say you're at work, or if you say that you're doing something, and this person comes and says, okay, well, you're not that busy, let me just get 2 minutes of your time, and before you know it, you've spent 30 minutes trying to explain something to them, or trying to help them with something. But when it comes time for you to get assistance, then they are running like roaches when the lights turn on. You have to be very careful of what's happening in this season. And so just going back to understanding that when it's time for you to birth, it is very important that once you're get ready to give birth, whether it's for an actual natural birth, whether it's birthing into your purpose, you have to be mindful of the people that you have in your circle. And so the people that's in your circle is supposed to help you birth that baby. They're supposed to help you push that baby out. They're supposed to help you push out through your purpose. They're supposed to help you with the vision that you have, the mission that you're trying to obtain. And their goal is to try to help you, not to try to hold you tight so you don't allow these things to happen. And before it happens, before anything happens, my words are trying to come out faster. Faster than I'm actually able to speak, is you allow the baby to be stillborn. You allow those things, you allow it to be aborted, because you didn't allow it to get to where it needed to be. So you have to be very, very, very careful in this season, because as we're going into this birthday month, we have to push forward into my thing is spinning. We have to understand that they will prevent you from being able to move. They'll prevent you from being able to move. Now, as a mother of 4 children, all of them, I had different, of course, every childbirth was a little bit different. So everything was a little bit different in different ways. So I know that when it's time, when it's time to push, and there should be somebody there, like that coach that's there, that said, come on, it's time to push. Come on, it's time for you to keep pressing. I know adversity is rearing its ugly head. I know the things all around you is happening. I know that you are going through struggle, stress, and strain. However, it is time for you to push. It is not time for you to sit still. It is not time for you to give up and say, you know what, I don't want to do this. I want to wait. I want to wait. I want to wait. Because what happens is you allow that thing to die. And that's not what you want. You have a goal and a journey that you need to continue to keep pressing on. So you can't allow those negative feelings and those negative people to infiltrate in your mind and allow them to love bomb you. You cannot allow people to love bomb you, because they will try their best to try to control everything they can. And they will try their best to look at all those things that are going on in your life, and they will push it away, because they don't want you to get ahead of them. They want you to grow, but they don't want you to get ahead of them. They don't want you to be able to have this baby. They don't want you to be able to say, you know what, I know it's time for me to move forward. I know I have to let go of some of these things. I have to let go of some of these old ways. I can't do business as usual. I can't continue to keep pouring into something and then my cup is depleted. And then when I look, there's nothing even there to refill me as I'm moving forward. So then we talk about the people that gaslight, right? And I know we've heard of that before. We've heard of people that gaslight you, right? They're guilty. You become guilty of they become guilty of downplaying your emotions. They downplay your emotions. Oh, well, you shouldn't be sad about that because that's minor. That's small. You shouldn't even be worrying about any of those things. Why in the world are you worried about that thing? Oh, you just that's minor. You shouldn't be worried about those things. If the thing is troubling you and bothering you, because oftentimes it comes from childhood experiences. A lot of things that happen as we become adults is because we didn't deal with the root of the problem. We didn't deal with the issues that happened when we were children, when we were younger. We didn't deal with some of those traumas that we had to face, whether it was, not having both parents in the home, whether it was dealing with someone who was a caregiver over you that had some type of hold over you, whether they were trying to control you, whether you were molested, whether you were going through some type of trauma and some type of adversity. What happens is we don't deal with those childhood experiences. And then the people that come to gaslight you, they desire to control you as well. It is similar to love bombing. They have a desire to control you. They have a desire to manipulate you, and there's personality disorders that come as a result of people gaslighting you. So these are some ways that people gaslight you. They lie, flat out, just lie. Now you could be knowing that they're telling you a lie. You know that they're telling you a lie. You know that if they told you that they were going to the store and to find out, because now we have these fancy technology so we can see where people are. We can track people in different ways and where they're going. And so they will tell you that they're someplace and they're doing something else. So they try to gaslight you and make it seem, oh no, I was just going over here because I had to go drop this off, or I had to go drop that off. Beware of those things, because what happens is a lot of times people don't realize that everybody has experienced something on this journey of life, and everyone has not been able to overcome the childhood experiences and the trauma that they've been faced with throughout the course of their life. And so because you have people that are trying to control you, you may not recognize it right up front. May not be love bombing. They may not come with the excessive compliments, but they try to control you in a different way. They try to downplay your emotions and make it seem as if you're not feeling what you're feeling. You're not feeling that gut feeling when you know something is off, when you know something is not right. They try to make it seem as if that's not what's happening. When you're on your job and you know that there are people that are going back and telling the boss that there's things that you're doing that you know that you're not doing. You know that you came in early. You know that you were on time coming back from your break. But because people don't want to see you get ahead because your name has been put in a pot for a promotion, then what happens is they try to go back and make up stories, flat out lying about different things that you're doing, not realizing that if the boss was there and seeing what was happening, then they would be able to observe on their own. But because these people are very, very cunning and very good at their craft, because this is something that they've done for quite some time, then they've been able to gaslight the boss into thinking. And because now, every time you get ready to go somewhere, every time you get ready to do something, now what happens? They want you to check the box. They want you to sign in and out. They want you to come and see them. They want you to check in with them. Let's flip it over to friendships. When it comes into friendships and people try to tell you that they want to do things with you, okay, I'm going to go over here, and before you know it, the last minute, oh, I'm not going to be able to go. I want to go and support. I want to go and do things with you, and then before you know it, because they have connected with other people that try to bring you down. And let me say this, what happens oftentimes, remember this, if people are teaming up against you, you must understand how powerful you are by yourself. If people are teaming up against you, you got to know how strong you are. Because let me tell you something, if you're strong and you don't recognize it, people will take advantage of that because they will play on your emotions. They will make you think, if you're telling them, I don't feel like I'm worthy, I don't feel like I can take on this responsibility, I don't feel like I can take on this job, I don't feel like I'm ready for a marriage, I don't feel like I'm ready for this promotion, I don't feel like I'm ready to do whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's start a business, whether it's write a book, whatever it is. I'm not ready to go to school. So people will downplay your emotions because you are speaking out of your mouth what you believe. You are valuable. You are valuable, and people see the value in you, but you don't always see the value in you. They see your potential, but you don't see the potential that lies in you, and they are intimidated by your potential, which is the reason why they downplay your emotions by gaslighting you and allowing themselves to lie to you and manipulate you based off of what is real. And then they try to coerce you into doing something that you shouldn't be doing. They try to get you to stay out a little bit later for lunch because somebody over here is having something and they're having a farewell celebration, or they're having a birthday party, or when with your significant other they try to coerce you by making you think that there's something that's not off, when you know, again, you get that feeling, you know inside when something is not right. You know when something's not right. Don't ignore the red flags, because the red flags are there. And what happens is when you ignore the red flags, then you find yourself in a situation where people have been able to control you mentally. And when people are able to control you mentally, your heart will follow. And so when you allow people to control you mentally and then your heart is invested in it, before you know it, you find yourself chasing, and you should not be always chasing. So you have to disconnect anything that you know is not right. So don't allow people to constantly keep lying to you. Don't allow people to constantly manipulate you and give you their version of reality. Don't allow people to coerce you into doing something that you know is plain out, flat out wrong, because you already know what right looks like. And even if you don't know what right looks like, you know when the feeling comes that you know it's not right. And so when people are doing these things, you have to recognize that, because if you don't, then you allow yourself to fall victim to a circumstance that oftentimes you didn't even create. You just allowed yourself to be a part of somebody else's story. You allowed yourself to be a part of something when you should not have been. You should have been able to disconnect and keep moving forward. Now, even in that disconnection process, it's not easy, because when you are invested in a friendship and you're invested in a relationship, it's not as easy to disconnect as you would think that it would be. It's not easy for you to walk away, because your heart is in it, because your mind is in it, because you love that person, you feel some way about that person, you care about that person and their well-being. So it's not easy for you to just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel, I'm just going to walk away, even though you know this person is an abuser, even though you know this person is a liar, even if you know this person is manipulating you. You know that it is difficult to walk away. But I will tell you, going back to the beginning, healing starts from within. Whatever you tell yourself, that's what's going to help build you up. So when you're going through adversity, you have to be able to overcome those trials and those tribulations by being able to speak life over yourself. You have to be able to speak life over yourself. So you have to press through the pain. If you're playing while you're in pain, it is a bad idea. Don't keep going back and forth. Don't keep trying to text. Don't keep saying to yourself, you know what, let me just have the last word, because that was me. You want to keep going back and forth and have the last word. You want to keep going back and forth and saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, you know I love you, you know I miss you, you know you're my best friend, you know that you're the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, you know the person, you're the person that I've invested this time. And so you're holding on to the honeymoon phase of things and what things looked like back then. Because as we continue to grow, as we have breath in our body and the mobility of our limbs, every single day we grow. And so there are times when you have to understand you are going to grow apart from people, because as you journey on this course of life, you have a path and another person has a path, whether it's friend or significant other, and you have two different paths. Now, if you were meant to be on that same path together, then you will follow on that path together, and you will continue to encourage, build, motivate, uplift one another and inspire one another to be able to do good things. So if you're on that path and you love somebody and you're telling them constantly over and over and over, and you're constantly getting rejection, so you're not healing, you're allowing yourself to hold on to the things of the past, you're allowing yourself to be an option. We are not accessories. We're not here to be an accessory to anyone. We're not here to just hang out until whenever this person decides and chooses to pick us up and pick up the phone and call us. Oh, I'm only your friend is only available when they need something from you. The significant other is only available when they need something from you. You have to be mindful of who you are and value your life, and know that you have been called for a purpose. You have a purpose in this course of life. And so have to follow on your purpose. People are going to fall off day by day. There's constantly going to be people that are going to fall off. And guess what? That is okay. because it's just like when you're carrying luggage, and if the luggage is too heavy when you're getting ready to get on that plane, then guess what? They're going to tell you you're going to have to remove some things. So you have to lay that weight aside. You can't carry all this excess stuff because you can't carry excess people. You cannot allow yourself to keep moving forward and doing what you think is the right thing because your heart is in it, because your mind is telling you that you care about this person, you love this person, you want to be around this person, when in all actuality, this person has no care or concern, and they are there using you as an option and an accessory. Disconnect, because disconnection will help you be able to heal. And when I say disconnect, sometimes you have to block people. Sometimes you have to delete their number. Sometimes you have to remove them from your social media. You have to remove them from anything, because the moment that you see their name, the moment that you hear anything about them, the moment that you are have things that remind you of them, you want to pick up that phone and you want to text them, and you want to call them, and you want to check on them, and you want to see how things are going. But you don't realize that you are allowing yourself to keep opening up those wounds, and you're pouring salt on the wound instead of allowing it to heal. Have you ever taken a band-aid off, and when you take the band-aid off, you realize that the cut is not healing because you're not allowing it to heal? I don't care how much aloe or how much neosporin you put on it, how much peroxide or anything you put on it, you are not allowing it to heal. The healing process, even for a cut, takes time. It doesn't heal overnight. So when you're going through trials and you're being a victim of gaslighting and love bombing, and you're going through a hardship, it's not going to happen for you to heal overnight. I'm going to say it again. You are not going to heal overnight. It's going to take time. You have to let it go. You have to be able to heal. And what does healing look like? When you've written down all those things that hurt you, and you're praying over those things, and you're speaking to yourself, about how awesome, how amazing, how powerful, how strong, how worthy you are, then that helps you heal, because you are affirming what God has already predestined for your life. But if you allow things to come every time you hear a person's name, every time you see one of their posts, every time something happens, because they'll pick up the phone randomly and call you to distract you and take you off your course, then you have to go back and hit the reset button all over again, and you have to go back through that process all over again. Why allow yourself to have undue harm to yourself? Why allow yourself to go through pain over and over? Because you keep playing it back. You keep going back to what was. You keep going back to the honeymoon phase of things, how things used to be, instead of looking at it for surface value. When someone stops speaking to you, that is okay. That doesn't mean that they don't love you. That doesn't mean that they don't care about you. But you have to understand that if you are a victim of love bombing and gaslighting, you need to disconnect, because that is not going to do anything by you communicating with them, but by allowing you to continue to be distracted. And you have a goal, you have a journey to follow, you have work to do, and allowing yourself to be at risk is not something you can chance, because you have purpose to push out. And so it, even for an athlete, right? If they're allowed to play through pain, I can speak about my son. He When he had a shoulder, he had tore his rotator cuff, and he cried and cried and cried, and he thought he was never ever going to be able to play again. And so he wanted to try to keep playing through the pain. But you know what happens when you keep playing with the pain, or like they say, playing with fire? You know what happens when you play through the pain? You put yourself at more serious injury, because you're allowing yourself for that false hope of love, that false hope of manipulation, that manipulation to come in. And what happens is the pain continues, and the healing process takes that much longer. And if it's not treated properly, that means if you're not treating yourself, if you're not speaking positivity over yourself, if you're not surrounding yourself with people that are going to help inspire, encourage, motivate you, and push you, provoke you to good works, it becomes more challenging for it to be treated. And then you become a case of mental health and illness unnecessarily. So it is okay for you to walk away. It is okay for you to say no. It is okay for you to disconnect. It is okay for you to block. It is okay for you to delete, or as I say, control alt delete. It is nothing wrong with that. Whenever you try to disconnect from people and they try to come back in, ask what is the reason why you want to stay connected to this person. What value is it going to add to you reaching your goal? If it's not going to add any value, if it's not going to multiply, then that means it's going to divide and it's going to subtract, and it's going to prevent you from being able to heal the way that you need to heal in order to move forward, because then you become stagnant and you're stuck in a place that you can't get out of because you don't know what to say. And then you become embarrassed because you don't want to share with your friend, your coworker, your significant other, that you have these broken heart feelings and you have these things that are mentally playing in your mind over and over and over again, because you know you're going to be hurt again, because you know they manipulated you, know they lied to you, you know that they tore things apart from you that you didn't even think that was there, because again, you did not deal with that childhood trauma. You didn't deal with the childhood trauma. And maybe you didn't have any childhood trauma. Maybe you had a great childhood. Maybe things were wonderful. However, if you allow these things to constantly keep infiltrating in your mind, it is a distraction and it prevents you from being able to reach the goals that you have already been predestined to reach. So we may not think that we're worthy of love. We may not think that we're worthy of love or being loved by someone, whether it's significant other, family members, friends, whatever. And I'll say this, because a lot of people go to work and they go on a job and their expectation is to be friends with everybody on the job. Be friendly, do your job, collect your paycheck, and go home. You don't have to be friends with everyone. You don't have to, try to be a part of a clique. Because once you find yourself in part of a clique, then what I was taught as a young lady, the more people that you are around, again, it creates a hostile environment if those people are not building you up. They are constantly tearing you down. And before you know it, your name is in the middle of some nonsense that you don't need to be a part of. So why put yourself through that? So you have to understand that you are worthy of love. You're worthy of love. Everyone is worthy of love. Love is the greatest thing. In First Corinthians, it says it's patient, it's kind, it's not envious. It's not boastful. It's not proud. It's not self seeking. It doesn't delight in wrongdoings. And it is the greatest thing. Faith, hope, and love. It's the greatest thing. So it's okay to say love you. When I tell you, I tell my family members, my friends, people, I love you because I genuinely love you, not because of who you are, what you can give me. I love you because of that God made you. I love you because you are a person that's here on earth and we're sharing the same space together. Because I know that there are times when people may not have even heard that in their life. They may not have even heard love or even understand what love is, but we just told you what it is. And so even if this is something that I like to do, and I like to put a person's name in that scripture and say, this person is patient, this person is kind, this person is that. And if these people don't fit those pieces, then you need to be very mindful of the people that you are connecting with. The people, are they patient? Are they kind? Are they envious? Are they boastful? Are they proud? Are they self-seeking? Do they keep a record of wrongdoings every time? Oh no, because I remember I did this for you, and then now that I asked you to do something for me, then you can't do it for me. There's nothing wrong with no. There's nothing wrong with no. And I'll say it again, there's nothing wrong with no. So you have to get yourself into a place where you set expectations that are laid out for you and not expectations of others. Because people will tell you, oh, yeah, I think you should do this and I think you should do that. That may not be your goal in your journey. You may not be an author. You may not be a college student. You may not be a business owner. You may not be a manager. You may not be able to do those things because that's not your gift. That's not what you were graced with. So there are things that you have to understand about you. And that's the reason why it's very important for you to have conversation with God, because he knows every little thing about you. He knows what he planted inside of you. Ask him to stir up the gifts in you. Talk to him. Speak with him about what it is that he would have for you to do here on this earth, and stop allowing other people to have their expectations of you. Because I can say, for example, with my son, my third born, I say to him, I want him to be a quarterback. He'll say to me, Mama, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a quarterback. I want to be a running back and a wide receiver. That's my expectation of him. But his expectation, and what is it that God wants him to do? And so we have to stop putting things on people and expecting things, and putting our expectations on them, and allowing them to follow the path that's already been pre-generated for them. The blueprint's already been laid. You just have to follow it. What is your blueprint? What is your blueprint for your life? And why are you allowing people to tell you what you can and cannot do? Don't allow people to put limits on you, because we serve a limitless God. He doesn't have limits. Nothing is impossible for him. Nothing is impossible for him. He puts extra on our ordinary. He does all things well. So if we know this, why do we allow people to put limits on what it is that we need to be doing in our lives, instead of really trusting in the Father that knows every little thing about us, that knows what we can and cannot do, who we need to connect with and who we need to disconnect from, and allowing ourselves to be gaslighted and love bombed by people and manipulated to do what it is that they want us to do for them, instead of focusing on what it is that God needs us to do for us. He put in you and planted in you gifts, time, talent, tools to be used for such a time as this. So are you going to sit on those things, or are you going to let people dictate to you what it is that you should and should not be doing? So you have to make a commitment to let go. You have to make a commitment to let go. And every single day that you are connected to someone that is doing nothing but allowing you to harm yourself, it is preventing you from being able to heal. So you have to make a commitment to let go. So again, what does that mean? Block, delete, no communication, cut off communication as much as you want to cut off communication. What I used to find myself doing is, when I want to call or text, or I reach out to that person or people, whatever, whether it's a friend or significant other, I find myself, okay, well, let me do this because this makes me happy. Let me go make a bracelet. Let me go read. Let me go pray. Because when I'm praying for someone, that I'm not worrying, because we can't pray and worry at the same time, right? I can't worry about what this person is doing. I can't worry about what this person is saying, because people are going to say and do what they want to do, because they are people and we can't control them. That's just like our children. We can't control them. We can give them all the tools. We can give them the word. We can give them the scriptures, but it's really up to them what they're going to do with it and how they're going to use it for themselves. And so we have to get ourselves to a posture that we are disconnecting from anything that's trying to prevent us from being able to grow. So feel the feelings. It's okay for you to feel the feelings of love. It's okay for you to feel the feelings of hurt. It's okay for you to cry. I said it. It's okay for you to cry, because God said he will bottle your tears and bless you according to the tears that you cry. So if it's okay for you to feel these feelings, then why are you trying to prevent yourself from feeling that feeling of love, feeling that feeling of hurt, feeling that feeling of pain? Allow yourself to grow through it. Grow through it. Grow through it. As you're growing through it, because remember, you're going to be able to help somebody else, because when somebody else comes to you and they have this same type of situation, then you're able to help them through some of the things that they're going through as well. So if you try to cherish memories of the past, it's going to bring up difficult, complex emotions. Stop reaching out. Disconnect, because it's your time to push. Disconnect. Don't allow yourself to be a victim when you're supposed to be a victor. You have victory. You have victory over the enemy. We already know the enemy already knows that he's defeated, but he's going to try anything that he can to try to manipulate you and prevent you from being able to reach your goal, to be able to reach that journey. And so anything that he can, if he knows that men, women, friends, work, money, cars, these different things are your weakness, do you not think for 1 minute that he's going to try to bring those things into your life to distract you and prevent you from being able to reach your goal? Stop bringing up and rehashing those emotions. It's not going to change anything. Let it go. What happened, happened. And it's okay. Let it go. Practice mindfulness. Be mindful of what you're thinking about. I love Joyce Meyer wrote a book, Battlefield of the Mind. And one of my favorite quotes from her book is to think about what you are thinking about. Think about what you are thinking about. If you're thinking about something that's not going to produce any good fruit or anything positive in your life, then think about it and let it go. Be mindful of what you are doing. Take responsibility for your actions. So you respond, you text this person, you reach out to this person because you want to understand why you're not friends anymore. Why all of a sudden did this person stop speaking to me? What happened in our friendship that allowed you to just stop speaking and disconnect? Why are you worrying about things you can't control? This person may not have felt that things were going to continue on. So they disconnected. And that's okay. Let it go. Because if that person cared about you like they said they did, then they would have been able to come to you and have an adult conversation with you and tell you, you know what, I think we need to take some space. I think we need to, draw back on our friendship, draw back on this relationship for a minute because things are not going the way we're not seeing eye to eye. We're not going on the same path. And that is okay. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing. So you have to take responsibility for allowing yourself to be poured into by negativity because you want to reach out. You want to know why. We all want to know why. That's like the answer, the question that we all ask. Why? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why is this person being this way? Why is this person being mean to me? I thought we were friends. I thought he loved me. I thought she loved me. I thought she cared about me. I thought he cared about me. Why are you questioning why? Sometimes God will remove things from you because he heard conversations that you didn't hear. He knows things that happen that you don't even know existed. That person might be praying to God about you and trying to disconnect, and you're trying to push yourself right back in the door. Why are you standing at the door knocking? Why are you sending letters? Why are you texting? Why are you trying to reach out? Make a commitment to let go and then practice self compassion. Have compassion for yourself. Love on you. What are some things that make you love you? There's an exercise that that I did in my journal that I was so excited about, and then when I got to it, it was so difficult. And one of the things it asks is like make a list of 30 things that make you smile. Now, 30 things should be easy, right? For you to be able to write a list of 30 things that make you smile. And so if you cannot complete those 30 things, because I was praying like, Lord, I'm just trying to figure out, and I tried not to think of like my children, my family, things like that. I was thinking about me. I wanted to know what are 30 things that make me smile. And so if there's things that I can't think of to make me smile, that means that I need to be doing more self-care and self-love. That means I need to be showing compassion towards myself. That means I need to be doing more for me. If you're constantly pouring out and then there's no return on your investment. It's just like if you invest in the stock market and you don't see a return on your investment and you're constantly going in the negative, if you're constantly hurt, if you're constantly crying, if you're constantly being upset and confused and trying to figure things out, then that means that you need to take accountability and figure out what you need to do better to make yourself better. You need to be a better you because that's what's important. You can't help anybody else if you are broken, completely broken. Now, I know some people may argue with that. Yes, you may be able to help people when you're broken, but how much effort are you going to put into someone when you're broken? And how much effort are you going to put into yourself? So while you're broken and you're helping someone else, how are you helping yourself grow? How are you helping yourself heal? How are you helping yourself? Yeah, there's some people that say, you know what, I get joy by helping others. That may be true because I know I'm one of those people that would say the same thing, that I get joy by helping others. But who helps you? How are you helping you? How are you loving you? Do you really truly love the skin that you're in? Can you look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you. I love every little thing about you. I don't care the size, the color, whatever. Do you really truly love you? But you love other people. So you have to take accountability and be mindful because you can bleed on other people because you're hurting. And before you know it, You're pouring out. And then you're pouring out into someone else who really has no interest in trying to help you heal. They just want you to be there to help them heal. They don't care about you healing. They don't care about you getting better. They don't care about you loving on yourself or taking time out for you. They just want you to be there for them when they need you to be there for them. So be compassionate towards yourself because it's going to help you. So I want to leave you with a couple of things. Change your self-talk. Change your self-talk. What are you saying about yourself? Honestly, what are you saying about yourself? When people ask you, who are you? What do you say about you? Do you initially give them your title? Do you tell them that you're a parent? Do you tell them all these accolades and everything that you've been able to accomplish? Or do you tell them who you really are? Change your self talk. Adjust your physical state of mind. Adjust your physical state of mind. Meditate and pray. Meditate and pray. Pray. Surround yourself with people that are going to support you. Don't lose yourself when you're in relationships because I've seen this happen and I've been a victim of it. That I had tried everything that I could with the exes to try to be the best wife, to be the best mother. And I don't like when you wear your hair like that. I don't like when you wear these clothing. I don't like when you wear heels. I don't like when you do this. And so what happens? We try to change ourselves to gain their approval. When in all actuality, if you love this, if you love it, then why not be you? Why are you changing yourself and losing yourself in a relationship? Why are you being quiet when you see things happening instead of speaking up and addressing the issue because you don't want confrontation, you don't want any issues because you don't want to have any recourse and conflict with your friend or your significant other. Be mindful of who you are in the relationship and don't lose yourself. Don't lose who you are because you are wonderful, amazing, talented, and gifted. And then my final thing is to adopt an abundance mindset. Adopt an abundance mindset and go off the grid. It's okay for you to take a break. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to be out and about. You don't have to show up at every event. You don't have to be there for everything because guess what? You are going through a healing process because you've been hurt, you've been abandoned, you've been lied to, you've been manipulated, have been a victim of different things. So you have to know who you are. Gain your strength back. Don't allow that band-aid to come off the cut until it's healed. Don't allow yourself to be surrounded by negativity because what happens is you find yourself going into different circles just to be around other people. And before you know it, you become a victim and being there to manipulate other people because then you start hearing conversations, people start telling you stories about other people and you become a victim of that. And instead of you speaking up, you've been sucked into this environment instead of allowing yourself to disconnect and heal. Healing is, as I said on one of my videos, it's a messy process, but it's worth it. It is worth it because you need to be able to grow. And being able to grow is being able to know that you are healed, being able to know that you have strength, being able to know that you are worthy, being able to know that you are valuable, that you are talented, you are gifted, and you are equipped with everything that you need. You just have to tap into it. And there's nothing wrong with saying no. And so I just wanted to leave you with that and let you understand to be mindful of the people that you're connected with. Be mindful when you feel like you've been loved bombed. Be mindful when you've been gaslighted. Be mindful as you're going through hardships and difficulty in your life. Just let go. Because as difficult as it is to let go, did you ever notice that when you let go of situations and circumstances that you know don't suit you, or you may feel that they don't suit you, how much better you feel, how free you are? They don't have bondage. You're not in bondage anymore. You've been able to overcome. And it's okay, because even in those times when you feel like you're alone, you're never alone. You may just be lonely, but you are never alone. You may have to be isolated for a time because you have to go through a healing process, but that is totally fine, because while you're being isolated, you're being insulated with goodness. So when you come back out of isolation, you become you're a better person. And that's where the growth and the maturity comes from, because if you're constantly repeating the same cycle, then you have to do a self-evaluation and figure out what is going on with you. What do you need to do to change? What do you need to do to be a better you? Because if you're not growing, then you're not going. If you're not growing, then you're not going. It's like running around in circles and you're going absolutely nowhere. You can be doing work all day long, but you're not going anywhere. It's like riding a stationary bike. It's moving, but you ain't going nowhere. So I just want you to be mindful of that. And I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to me as well. So I just wanted to come in and share that with you, that as we're going into this ninth month, and I am excited about September and what God is going to do in each and every one of your lives, and how He is going to allow you to birth forth those things that you've been sitting on. It is time for you to press into your purpose. If you have not already, it is time to press into your purpose. Don't allow that negative self-talk to infiltrate you and prevent you from being able to move forward. Turn a deaf ear to the love bombers, and recognize the red flags when they come. Don't discount the red flags. Don't discount when you're being gaslighted, when you're being lied to, when you're being manipulated. Allow yourself to understand and be stern. You're an adult. Be stern. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not go. It's okay that you don't have to be a part of it, because you want to be able to have a positive mindset and have things that are going to be fruitful. And if you're connected to things that are going to bring you down, it is going to prevent you from being able to grow so you can go. Amen. Amen. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in for this week's episode of Bridging the Gap from War to Wisdom. If you haven't already, do me a favor and share the live. For those of you that are watching on a replay, I pray that something was said or done that will help you be able to get past the hardships and know that it is almost time. We only have a couple more days left in this month, and before you know it, we're going to be in a new month. And so we don't have to wait until the new month to enter into a new mindset. We can start today. We can start this journey today. And regardless of what is going on and what happened to you, you still have time. As long as you have breath in your body and the mobility of your limbs, you still have time. Amen. God bless you and have a wonderful winning Wednesday on purpose.